Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to go a story titled, I, a 34-year-old male, found videos and pictures of my wife, a 34-year-old female, with another couple. How do I tell her I'm no longer comfortable being around the other couple? And a shout out to Gabriel for sending me this story. And like it says here, this guy is 34, along with his wife. They've been married for 12 years. And one day he had a day off, and he discovers an old flash drive. He looked at it because he's curious, and it opened Pandora's box, where he found out about a whole different side of his wife that he never knew about. And as it turns out, she lied about her whole past with regards to her friend and her husband. And obviously this guy is very disturbed by this whole thing, and it's turned into a big giant mess. And once again, shows you guys, before you get serious to someone, you got to do your homework. And how pretty much nowadays, everybody has skeletons in their closets. Some have like a whole cemetery's worth in their closets, and you got to do your homework. And how, in these stories, a lot of women will do the old lying by omission thing. They won't tell you about it, because they know darn well you're going to get rid of them. And then when you find out, of course, you're the bad guy for digging into their past. So it says here, so I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. My wife and I have been married now for just shy of 12 years. We met in college between her junior and senior years. During this time, I also met her close friends Brian and Chloe. Okay, any girl named Chloe is trouble. That's been my experience, along with Jessica's. Chloe's usually tend to be, a little adventurous, and not in a good way. They were high school sweethearts who are currently married and friends still with my wife and myself. I've been off work now for a week due to me accruing many leave days, and I had to burn some or I'd lose them. School is about to start back up, so I figured I would clean the house and generally straighten up everything while the kids are still in summer camp and my wife is at work. While moving things into the attic on Tuesday, I stumbled across an old filing cabinet. There you go, the old filing cabinet. The cabinet, a little place where people throw excess shit they don't have time to sort out or throw away, and that's where you find all the secrets. Like the small one you find that you can put on a desk. Inside I found a flash drive with a red heart colored on it. Okay, I guess it's not something about the Care Bears, it's something else here. Now I'll admit my curiosity got the best of me, so I popped downstairs and threw it into the computer. Once I opened it up, there was only one folder titled The Summer of Love. Looking in that folder, I found pictures and videos of my wife, Brian, and Chloe engaging in very S-word acts. Looking at it further, it was apparent that it was the summer we met. Well, I wasn't expecting that with the big heart on there. Pictures, videos. Nobody can do anything anymore without having an archive of everything. All along, this is the couple, her friend and husband that she hangs out with, he hangs out with, and has no idea. I think many of you guys out there would be pretty pissed off if you found this thing out. And she married the guy anyway. And this goes back around the time they met. When my wife got home that evening, I couldn't hold it and just asked her about the summer of love. She immediately got defensive and saying I broke her trust by going through her things. So, this is all going on when they were together, and her reaction is to get mad at him and yell at him for going through her stuff instead of her face turning white as a ghost and apologizing. And by the way, she obviously knows these things exist, so she's kept this on purpose. Does she look back on this from time to time? Here come the sirens. We got into a huge fight where I found out that she had been their third for around 5 months or so, and it ended at the time of the summer, and our relationship looked like it was going strong. She says it was college, where me and her weren't serious yet, and that I was making her feel bad for things that happened years in the past. I'm making you feel bad for you lying by omission, by letting me marry you, not knowing the full extent of your activities before we got together and during the time we got together. There are guys that might have a problem with her being into girls, thinking that she may not be totally into me, and get the 7-year itch and want to, have some time with some sushi. Who knows? Okay, with the sirens. God's sakes. I told her I wasn't very comfortable being friends with Brian and Chloe anymore. Gee, you think? This only led to more fighting. So honestly, right now, I'm just kind of lost. I'm not comfortable seeing Brian and Chloe after seeing what I saw, but it's driving a wedge between me and my wife. I'm not sure if I should make an ultimatum, like choose me or them. I have so many feelings. Well, ultimatums usually don't go anywhere except divorce, But this guy has a right to be pissed off. Let's review. She hid this from him for 12 years. She was into other girls. Okay, again, bisexual gals, I got no problem with them doing that. But a lot of times when they get married, sometimes they miss the girl's touch, as well as the fact that she lied by omission, let him marry her without revealing all this stuff. And oh yeah, they hang out with these people from time to time. And that guy sitting across from them at the table and they have their double dates, one time had his dong in her mouth. Not a good thing. So this guy's every right to be pissed off and think about ending it with her. I sure as hell would. Update. He says, so first off, I was kicked off relationship advice. He means like a subcategory in Reddit. I don't know why, but I kind of read their message and got off Reddit for a while. I don't know if I put this on Reddit, if I blah, 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 whatever. So I called Brian about a day after my original post. Brian is the husband of Chloe. I told him I knew about the summer of love. He was quiet for about a minute. He then began apologizing profusely. Well, at least he can apologize for it. But remember, this asshole kept this quiet all this time too. I gotta wonder if the wife told him, oh, the guy knows. So here's what I know from Brian. In March 2010, my wife had not had the best dating experiences in college. You mean she's been dating a bunch of losers and scumbags? Imagine that. Chloe and my wife began having a S-word relationship, which Brian knew about. Eventually, in late April, Brian was invited into the mix. The whole summer of love video and photo session took place on July 7th, 2010. They'd gone to a party the day before, and on the 7th, they all got drunk and high in my wife's apartment and decided to make the video. When my wife posted on Facebook in August acknowledging me as her boyfriend, Brian decided to no longer engage in the relationship. Well, if that's true, that's very nice, but still, all along, this has been behind the scenes. Chloe and my wife continued to engage in an S-word relationship until late September. So this guy was in a relationship with the gal who's now his wife, and still she was still having a girl-on-girl relationship while this was going on. Even though there was a big threesome before. This just keeps getting better and better. At that time, my wife had found out that she had been pregnant and had miscarried. She was about 2 months along. Until the miscarriage, she was apparently fully unaware she was even pregnant. Now, at the time, as what I knew, she was having financial and grade issues as to why she was so depressed during that time. Man, this guy picked a real winner. She also had financial and grade issues as well. Oh, great. And she got pregnant. And whose baby was this? Was it her husband who's telling the story now, or Brian's? Like I told you, skeletons in closets. What I know now is that it's not sure if the child would have been mine or Brian's. This apparently sent them all into shock, and it was determined that it would be best to keep this a secret and to fully end all relationships. You mean keep it a secret from you? How nice of her. How thoughtful. Why? Because probably in her mind, you would walk away from her. You said, this is not for me, or you were cheating on me with a guy and a girl, then you got pregnant. Nope, kept it quiet because she knew this guy would walk. They haven't done anything since, and they want to keep it that way. Hard time believing that because, well, once a cheater, always a cheater, and, it's not like she's been very honest up until this point. That week, I was still off. On that Thursday, my wife dropped the kids off at daycare and took the day off. We spent the entire day talking. Her story is the same as Brian's from what I can tell. She explained that her and Chloe did keep up a S-word relationship as she due to failed past relationships, as she was afraid that ours would fail as well. Okay, so she's had bad experiences with men. So, okay, that didn't work, so I'm going to now try girls. You got tired of a certain food, or a certain food didn't, whatever, and now you're going to try a different food? Okay. She can't just shut off the attraction for girls if she's bi. She told me that she had thought of telling me over the years, but figured it'd be best to leave it a secret. No, it's best for her to leave this a secret. That's the difference there. She was also embarrassed to admit that she had been bi in college. The flash drive she had completely forgotten about. She didn't forget about it because the second he brought it up, she went bananas. We all heard that. We have moved around 4 times since we've been married, so it is plausible. The small little filing cabinet was used in the past for junk items like spare batteries and wires and things like that. We have managed to get into a couples therapy session on short notice. This was last Thursday. Everything went smoothly. A lot of tears were shed on her side, and I believe my wife is what she is saying. Smack. Do not fall for the waterworks. Come on. Of course she's crying. When all else fails, bring on the waterworks. The thing is, there has never been a day or time frame in all of our years of marriage where any of them could have gotten together. She has agreed to keep contact with Chloe to a bare minimum while we work through all this. And that is where he ends here. I'm sure there's going to be updates. Well, in my opinion, there's just too many problems here. I just don't see this working out very well. And he said there's been no time over the years for them to get together and fool around. Bullshit. Damn many stories I've covered, 3,000 plus videos in the last almost 5 years I've been on YouTube, where a husband couldn't imagine his wife had time to do this or do that, and somehow she found a way, And you just don't switch off the attraction. If she is bi, which she clearly is, you don't just switch that off. It's always going to be there, But this is just too much. And I have to question other things. And now we have to question his kids. Are those kids his? It's a reasonable question. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't be standing for this, and I'd be talking to a lawyer, finding out my options here. But everybody's different. He's going to have to do his own thing. But now a few comments here. Let me tell you, the comment section, by and large, nobody's buying the story. Nobody's buying that this is a good idea sticking with her. So one guy says here, there's so many violations in this post. Number 1, the nasty cheating. Number 2, the still hanging out frequently with former fuck buddies. 3, trying to gaslight you when you brought it up. 4, lying about how far she went with the wife, essentially trickle-truthing. 5, having unprotected SCX with these people and also with you. 6, she could have been pregnant with your kid, but she kept it a secret all those years. Yeah, exactly. I get you want to try and work things out, but you definitely need space from her so you can process things on your own without her influencing your judgment. I always say the first thing to do after getting cheated on is to send the cheater away, even if you plan on reconciling. Also, what do you mean while we work through this? I expect you to demand complete no contact with them. They knew she was in a relationship and she still kept cheating with her. They're no better than she is. Exactly. This guy holds all the cards. He just doesn't realize it. In her mind, she thinks she can cry her way out of this. If he was going to stay with her, I'm not saying that's what he should do. By all means, no, you're not hanging out with these people anymore. But you really think she's going to give up her friends from like 12 plus years? I don't think so. Because he's been married to her 12 years, but then there's how many years they were dating in a relationship prior to this. Another guy says here, the fact that her reaction to you finding out was to yell at you that you invaded her personal space is the most alarming to me. A person who has changed or is loving and trusting in a relationship would likely be, I'm so sorry, I didn't tell you about this, it was so many years ago, blah, blah, blah. The immediate anger is suspicious. Also, why are you claiming about your whole why are you so calm about the whole sexual past with her being a liar and cheating thing? He says, well, update me when you stop being a doormat. Yeah, a lot of people in Reddit weren't happy with his handling this. And last one, this guy says, you were cheated on and lied by 3 people who have been laughing about it behind your back all these years. The worst part is your wife, then girlfriend, took your choice to stay with her or to leave away from you, and now you find out that she's even pregnant, and more likely it was Brian's. If you think for 1 second they haven't been together, then you can think of, they always find a way to hook up. I'm sure you realize now that your wife not only knew about the drive with its contents, but probably used to watch it while on the phone, with one of them doing herself while watching it. If you think she didn't remember it, you're wrong. Yeah, but she did remember it when he brought it up. And then later on, she was like, oh, that was the thing that we just tossed away. When you find something like that in a place that looks like it had fallen out of a drawer and behind something, it was literally in the best hiding spot. If you're fine with the whole idea that it's in the past and she hasn't done anything then, that attitude, I really do feel bad for you because you haven't realized that if people truly loved you, they don't lie to you and keep these things secret just because they're ashamed of what you might think. If you had known, then what would you have done? Would you have left her or stayed with her? That's what she took from you. That's why they laugh at you behind your back, because they all took that choice from you. Well, it could be that extreme or it could not be that extreme, but who knows? But the point is, he should have had a choice. Probably this guy wouldn't care that she fooled around with girls in college, even though that should be a red flag because that attraction may never go away. But regardless, now he has a big choice to make. But I have a funny feeling this story is not over. So guys, keep an eye out for any updates here and let me know. I cover so many stories, it's impossible to keep track of them, but when you let me know, I can do updates here. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.